Well, good morning. Today, thought we'd do a quick video ride because today is MOT day, which was why we're taking the Zuma this morning up to the main Honda dealer in Edinburgh for its annual MOT inspection. And for those of you, this is Leith Walk by the way, it's still a complete mess with the trams. As you can see, not really any sign of any tram lines in place yet. It's still a building site and will be for a long time to come. Yeah, that's it. So, today, yes, MOT, for those of you who don't know, who are outside the country, maybe outside Britain, an MOT is basically an annual inspection of roadworthiness, which vehicles have to go through every year once they reach 3 years old. And obviously the Zuma here is now 13 years old, so once a year we have to take it to a garage that deals with motorcycles. You wait, madam. And they put it through a basic check, lights, indicators, all that kind of stuff, so that it is road legal. So this is where we're going this morning. This is Tuesday the, what are we on, 6th of October. I'm on holiday this week, so it's 8:26, garage opens at 9, so I'm thinking if I get in early, hopefully it'll be done in a couple of hours. I'm going to have to trail all the way home on the bus and then go all the way back in again. That's the plan anyway. Where are you going? You just decided to stop in the middle of the road, or have you actually got somewhere you're going? Oh, there's somebody ahead of you. I haven't been up this way for a while because Queen Street, which I turn on to for work, is closed at the moment. That reopens in a week or so. But this is the most direct way to get to the part of town that I'm heading, believe it or not. As if you're not crawling along at 5 miles an hour anyway. So yeah, MOT day, so obviously I've checked the bike over, made sure all the lights and everything are working. Now the only advisory that came back last time with the MOT, well there was two actually. One was slight binding on the rear brake. Well, I fixed that. If you remember, I had the back wheel off because the brake was sticking. So I had the back wheel off, cleaned all that out. That shouldn't be a problem anymore. The other one is this very slight movement on the rear wheel. But it's only very slight and it's not likely to be a fail. It was something I meant to get fixed, get the, what do you call it, the bits that you go around the axle, keep the wheel running straight. Completely forgotten, I'll come up with a minute. I was planning to get that replaced, either do it myself or just hand it into the garage to get done. This is the cyclist, by the way, in front of us here. No, but this huge monster truck this guy's got can't get past, so we're all stuck while somebody toddles up the road on their bike. Edinburgh, I tell you, what a shambles. There we go. We see it. So yeah, that's the only advisory then, was the slight play in the rear wheel. I haven't had a chance to fix it. I was going to hand it into the garage to do, but then lockdown came and that was the end of that. And then of course there was the issue of once lockdown was over, the garage was only taking people who needed work done on vehicles they needed for emergency travel, so I couldn't get my bike booked in then, and after that it really, the MOT was fast approaching. So I don't think it'll be a problem. I had a friend of mine look at it here to give the wheel a quick test and he said there was no problem. So hopefully it'll probably come up as an advisory again, but with a bit of luck it's not going to be a fail. So yeah, what we're now doing is This is the Edinburgh Playhouse, one of our theatres. Been shut for months, of course. As news yesterday that Cineworld, big cinema group in Edinburgh and the rest of Britain, are closing until further notice. Thousands more jobs going. Ahead of us is the new St James Centre, rising from the debris of the old one. That's been delayed because of the virus. So we're just going to head up here. Anyway, so hopefully we'll get this out the way. If I hand it in first thing, with a bit of luck it'll be done in a couple of hours. We'll send you a text message to say it's ready to collect. I can pick it up and head back home. That's the plan anyway. The roads are not too busy. Because when we get back home, with being off this week, we've got some more projects I want to do. Main one being swap out the blocky indicators you see at the front there, the stock indicators, and put in the nice metal sort of round bullet ones that I got. So we've got that to do this week. I also want to paint the wheel hubs, because I noticed when I was checking over, they're getting a little rusty, especially the front ones. So I've got some Amorite straight to metal paint. We're going to just bang that on, which does a good job. And tidy those up a bit. This is the North Bridge in Edinburgh. This again is, like everything else in Edinburgh, is covered in roadworks because it's undergoing a massive refit. It's a historic bridge, this. Been here, what, 150 years, something like that. As you can see, it's all getting redeveloped, repaired, returned to its former glory. It should look nice when it's done. Not this a good year now. So we're just heading up the bridges now, which takes you from the new town of Edinburgh, built in the 18th century for the wealthy, and takes us into the old town of Edinburgh. Oh, these ones are. Oh, I see. Road bits. This is the bridges, a bit tatty at the moment. Mobbed during the festival time, this area is, but sadly not this year. The junction at the top of the road there where the lights are, that's the Royal Mile. Going up the way leads you up to the castle. Down the way leads you to Holyrood Palace, where Her Majesty the Queen stays when she's in town. I don't think she is at the moment. What time? 8:33, that's fine. We've missed hopefully the worst bit of traffic. Should be a straight run now. The Two Wheels, which is over at the Cameron Toll side of Edinburgh. This bus going anywhere, his hazards on, then he's indicating, right, whoa, you pay attention, son. Right, so it's the Royal Mile we're crossing now, and we are heading down the bridges. It's a bit of a grey, nasty day with some horrendous weather recently, but at least it's dry this morning, which is something. Quite windy, so if you can't hear anything, I apologise. So yeah, back to projects. So we've got the indicator lights to fit. I need to test they all work first before I wire them all in, but we'll do a video to show all that and the wiring up process. Hopefully they work okay. Paint the wheels, wheel hubs, probably going to do that because they're a bit rusty. what else? Yeah, I've got a rev counter. It was £7 from a Chinese supplier, so I tried it. I wired it up how I thought it went and got nothing out of it. So what I'm going to do is, again, I've got some mini crocodile clips. So we're going to test that and wire it up, see if I found some different instructions online, so we'll do a sort of basic wire up, see if I can get it to work. If not, well, you know, £7, I'm not going to break my heart. If it does work, then I'll wire it into the dash just now, where you see we have the console and the fuel gauge. There is a rev counter on the console, but it's not the clearest to see. So and there's something else. What else is there? I'm trying to think. Something else I want to do. I'm going to get some. I might get some. What do you call it? ACF is it? I can never remember. 50 anti-corrosion spray, and just give the bike a good going over with that. Because as you can see, it says October. We are entering winter in Scotland, and all the joys that brings. So, oh, cyclists. Don't you love them? So I've got that to do, and there's something else actually, I can't remember what it is now. So yeah, it's a holiday week, so I've got a few wee projects I want to do this week while the bike's not taking me to and from work. COVID-wise, well, things are not getting much better here. The case rates are going up again. There's talk of a kind of mini lockdown coming when the school holidays are off, when the schools are off on a fortnight's holiday later this month. I don't think it's going to be a full lockdown like we had before, with everything shut and us all stuck at home. I think they'll have to keep businesses and things open. It may affect pubs, it may affect restaurants. They say it may affect travel, you know, public transport. But hopefully we're still going to be able to get to work and earn a wage. Those people, those of us lucky enough, of course, to still have work and a wage, because it's tough times at the moment for a lot of people out there. Nice to see a few scooters about this time of year. Edinburgh, I mean, Britain on a whole is not the biggest country in the world for scooters and things. We're not like the continent where they're everywhere. And frankly, Scotland, with the weather we have, doesn't help either. But there's a few about this morning, which is good. It is at the end of the day the most economical, and most of the time fastest, with the roadworks and things, fastest way to get around Edinburgh. But obviously a lot of people like their cars. We're not too far away now. Two Wheels is the only Honda motorcycle dealer in Edinburgh. Well, it probably would be. Edinburgh's not that big a city after all. It's a big dealer though. I've never had a problem with them. They've always been fair with me. I've bought bikes from them in the past. I've even sold them a bike on one occasion. And I usually get all my servicing and, well, I mean, servicing on the Zoomer I tend to do myself, but any repairs or anything I've needed on previous bikes, MOTs, what have you, always go to Two Wheels. I always think it's handy if you've got an old Honda which this is, to go to a Honda garage, because they're going to be a little bit more lenient maybe on some minor issues. For instance, you know, the headlight beams might not be aligned exactly. Now with another garage maybe put you as a fail that to get some more money. I don't know if they would. Maybe I've just been over paranoid, but I always think Honda don't want to fail their own bikes, and I've never had a problem. So this is where we're going. I've got silicone grease coming as well. That's something else I want to do, is go over all the electrical connections and put silicone grease on them just to make sure they're all watertight and everything for the winter. So that's another little job. It's basically just a lot of prep work for the winter months coming, because I still use the bike all year round, and barring ice, snow and gale force winds, which aren't a lot of fun. The little bike and me are out every day on the road to work. So unless it's absolutely hammering down, I mean, sometimes I can look out the window in the morning, and if it's absolutely chucking it down, I don't fancy it much, but more often than not, I'll give it a go. Switch lanes here, get ready to turn. Motorbikes in Edinburgh are allowed in the bus lanes. Just watching this black car here in case he decides to dart across. Is one going? Is he going? No, doesn't appear to be. Okay. You've always got to watch out for them. So 8:41, this is going to time pretty much, should get there in another 5-10 minutes. And the doors open at 9, so they can have the bike straight away. A moped MOT should not take too long. And with a bit of luck, I can go for a coffee somewhere and a bite of breakfast, and then come back and collect, rather than having to all the way through town. What's going on here now? Come on. Don't want to bus all the way back to my area and then have to get the text to come back in again. I could leave it till tomorrow and collect tomorrow, but I'd rather just get it all done in one day. Traffic looks a bit congested down here. That's Cameron and Toll Shopping Centre. Might pop in there for a coffee, see if anywhere's open for a bacon roll or something once this is dropped off. Now we get big flashing lights here. What's this about? Oh, that's that road off there. Oh, I don't know. So I'm hoping I could be back home by lunchtime if all goes well. I'll update you when we're back on the road again. Well, hopefully we're back on the road again if we get a pass. Can't really see any reason it would fail. Traffic's a bit grim here. Sirens coming from somewhere. Oh, there it is. There's a big hospital, biggest hospital in Edinburgh is near here, so you get quite a few ambulances coming about. This is a bit of a mess. Could it be more roadworks? Or is it just morning rush hour traffic? Oh well, we're not in any hurry. Da 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 da. Quite sure why those red lights are flashing. No doubt find out. These are the big bikers. Just not in a hurry, so I shall just sit and let them deal with the filtering this morning. Autumn leaves everywhere. Winter is coming. There's a roundabout at the end here, and we're just going round it and off to the left, and then it's just along the road to two wheels, and that'll be it. Just need to wait till they open the big gates, and my keys in, and we're done. That one over. I should be in the other area in the lane actually, probably should. No, I shouldn't, because that's going round to the old town. Not very clear signals here. Terrible road junction, I don't know where you're going. Not the clearest. Anyway, we're here. See the Honda sign in a minute. And that's us, safely here. Let the MOT begin. So that's me back home at the end of MOT day, sadly without the zoomer. It failed. The main thing it failed on, which wasn't a huge surprise, I even mentioned it in the journey up video, was the rear bearings, the rear wheel bearings. Now that had come up as an advisory on the last MOT last year. What I'd originally planned to do was put the bike into the garage in the spring, sort of March, April time, to get the bearings fixed. Now, of course, March, April 2020, the world went mad, everything was locked down, the garage was closed, there was nothing I could do about it. I don't really have the equipment here to do that sort of work myself, so I just thought,
I left it. Now, the garage was closed for 3 months completely, and then it reopened in August, but it was only accepting bike work for key workers, you know, hospital staff, you know, whatever. So you couldn't book anything in anyway. And it's only in the last 2 or 3 weeks that it's opened up now to doing general work and MOTs. So there was really no opportunity to get the bearings replaced. So that was that. It was always I was always winging a bit going in today. It was the one issue I was slightly concerned about, and the guy who phoned me said the bearings are shot, they need replaced. It's not going to pass with that. So that's fine. That's no problem. That wasn't a surprise. One other thing he said was the LED lights in the headlights and the rear lights are not working properly. Now, that was a strange one because obviously before I take it in, I check the headlights are working and the rear light is working. And they were okay. But what he says is that the LEDs are obviously not working properly. They're actually throwing light randomly about. So again, that's not a pass. Now hopefully that's just a case of replacing the bulbs. I think you kind of expect with LED bulbs that you put them in and that's it. You know, you can forget about them for the next 10 years sort of thing. Now, maybe that's a bit naive of me. Maybe I just bought cheap bulbs. They may have got a bit of water in, who knows. But anyway, the bulbs in the headlights and the rear light are going to need replaced. Now, I put the headlight bulbs in about well over a year ago. I didn't put the rear light in. That was put in by the previous owner, so I don't know how long that had been there. But still, with LED, you would expect them to last, you know, a good long time, certainly longer than a year. But anyway, that was a bit annoying because probably I should have checked that a bit better. But I think you kind of expect with LED bulbs, you put them in and you forget about them, they're going to work forever. It's maybe a little warning that sometimes they don't. So that's it. The bike I left the bike in the garage. He says it'll take maybe a week to 10 days, depending on how quickly they can get parts, because obviously they're backed up with a lot of work as well with the lockdown and everything else. Hopefully we don't enter a second lockdown here in the next couple of weeks and everything grinds to a halt again, but with a bit of luck they'll be able to carry on work. And I should have the bike back within a week to 10 days, maybe sooner if they can get the parts quicker, who knows. As it is, I'm off on holiday this week anyway, so it doesn't really matter, and it'll just have to be the bus to work for a few days until I get it back, which is okay. Unfortunately, that means the projects I discussed on the trip up are all on hold, but you know, that's no great issue. I'm not in any hurry and it's not a problem. So that's it. MOT failure, I'm afraid. Bit of a disappointment, but you know, frankly, as I said, I was winging it a bit with the rear bearing anyway, so you know, you win some, you lose some. That's it. I'll let you know when I'm back on the road, and obviously what the cost was of all this work. Hopefully it's not going to be anything too much. But again, the benefit of lockdown is I've been squirreling money away for bike stuff anyway, so you know, I'm okay there. It's not a problem. So that's it. You won't hear from me for a few more days, but I shall be back shortly. So thanks for watching the video. Hope you enjoyed the wee run through Edinburgh and my optimistic chat about passing the MOT. As always, if you can like and subscribe, that's much appreciated. Stay safe during all the COVID catastrophe, and ride safe as well. And as always, thanks for watching, everybody. It's much appreciated. Take care.